so coachable.
Why? You should be in
Just need to
prison.
shake him.
You should be in prison. We built you out. We built you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison. You're facing charges.
Hello, and welcome. My name is Banks, and you're watching United We Ball on the Final Third YouTube channel. I've got two very esteemed guests with me. I've got Semps and I've got Tony. Guys, thank you very much for joining me on this episode. I know it's going to be a lot of pain on this episode, but thanks for joining me with it. Semps, how you doing right now?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on, inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be here. Big up yourself and the channel. So yeah, man, I'm all good, bro. I'm healthy in it. I'm living, so I'm good. But obviously, we're gonna get into the pain of Man United today. But yeah,
Tony, how you doing? Let me know.
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. I know it's not practical because impromptu night out with work, so I'm in the middle of the pub trying to record. I didn't want to let you guys
We love
down.
the dedication. We love the dedication to you.
It's
Just
late to
feeling the
vent,
pain
man.
with United.
This club's hurt my feelings for 3 years. I need to vent, man. So that's why I'm here. I appreciate having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Nah, no problem. We're happy to have you on, man. I just want to I don't even want to pick old scabs or have to go over old wounds, but we got to talk about the 5-0. I just want to go back to before the match, what you were thinking about in terms of predictions. Was you thinking it was going to go this sort of way? Did you think it was going to be a drubbing? Did you think we had a chance? Let me go to Semps first. How did you feel before the match?
yeah, man. So obviously, me and you were chatting a little bit off camera. I was at the game as well. So on a run up to the game, obviously, when we played midweek against Atalanta and the week before against Leicester, I'm thinking, me and my brethren are like, we're not going. We're not going. We're not making that trip up. Yeah, I'm a London boy as well, so man ain't making that trip all the way up there just to see us get battered.
The thoughts were going through my head
Yeah,
as well,
man.
They were going through my head.
But you know what gassed me, and I don't know why he gassed me as well, but on Monday Night Football, Gary Neville was sticking it to Jamie Carragher saying, we're going to beat you on Sunday. We're going to beat you. You know it. And
Charlotte,
and you know how it really is, is I was watching that thinking, flipping out, look at Jamie's face. I was thinking, if we do it and I weren't there, I'm going to be pissed. And my brethren messaged me, who I roll with, and he messaged me saying, should we go? And he saw the same thing, gassed him as well. So so we said, you know what, we'll make a judgment on Wednesday. And obviously we flipping won. It wasn't a good performance, but we won. So we was like, all right, let's roll up there. So to answer your question, I was like, even when we've been rubbish recently, Liverpool haven't come to OT and just wiped the floor with us. We've given them a game. Do you know what I mean?
It's been a while since they've done that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, look, there's a chance that we can get a draw. There's a chance that we can win. I'm going up there thinking we're going to lose. I'm not thinking we're going to win, but there's always that little bit of hope. So I was hoping that we could maybe nick a win. Obviously, we don't keep clean sheets, so there was always going to be goals. Maybe we can win 2-1, 3-2, something like that, or a 2-2 draw. You know what I mean? But I did not expect 5-0, I'll be real, because if I did think that was a possibility, I would not have gone.
Tony, what was your thoughts before the game? Was you confident?
No, so Banks, you know this more than anyone else. When Ole came in, I've been missing negative. Like, you know what? When he became interim, I thought, it made sense. I've always felt that Jose was treated kind of harshly. So, but he got sacked. It is what it is. Ole came in. He won on those runs. He went on that little run when he started winning 7-8 games in a row. We were scoring high goals. I thought, yeah, you know what? I'll give him a chance. PSG happened like every Man United fan. I was gassed, innit? And the next day he was given the job, and I was like, what? What kind of corrupt piece? Like, what kind of baby school team does this? The guy's biggest credentials is winning in Norway. You don't do that. You don't do that around here. He should have finished the season, and then we get the next big thing. So I've always been negative with Ole, and you know what? This weekend, I was talking to the guys at work, and I said, bro, if we play like we play against Atalanta, we are losing 5-0. I was being hyperbolic. I didn't expect it to happen. So when it happened, I remember I was watching it, and you know what? I missed the first 10 minutes. I turned my TV on.
I missed the first five.
I turned my TV on. I'm thinking 2-0 in 10 minutes. I said, no, this can't be happening. you know what? It obviously it hurt because obviously I'm a United fan. I don't want to lose to Liverpool. No one wants to lose to Liverpool. But it's one of them things where at the end of the game, I was thinking it was necessary. It was necessary because that's the level that he's at. So did I enter the game thinking we were going to win? No. Did I think we were going to lose 5-0? I said it to be hyperbolic. I wasn't expecting it to happen, but I did expect us to lose, especially the way that we've been playing. 5-0 is crazy, though. Crazy.
Goals said it after the Atalanta match. Go play Liverpool like this. Go play Liverpool like this, and they'll show you about yourself. They'll show you about yourself. And Ole, the madman, decided to play the exact same team that got off to a horrible start. We're going to talk about it more, but Ole, the madman, it's like he heard Paul Scholes and he said, you know what, I'm going to try it anyway. You heard Scholes saying, do that and you're going to get punked. And he said, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. Let's get into that lineup. Obviously, we know the Atalanta game started off 2-0 at halftime.
Oh,
he made the changes, which led to a positive outcome for United. He obviously had a barnstorm in the second half, won it 3-0 to win the match 3-2. Was you expecting him to go with the exact same lineup that started so poorly against Atalanta, Tony?
No. I thought, you know what? Fred and McTominay play when he's a bit worried about the opposition. So I expected them to start. But I honestly, I thought he was going to go with a 3 at the back. I thought Baye was going to come in, even though he hasn't played all season. I know it's kind of silly of me to think that. I said, if Baye's going to come in, or Shaw's going to tuck in, and Tears will play left wing back. Because I don't know, Ole in the past has played 3 at the back when he's thinking, I don't know how these lot are going to move in it. So I was thinking, at least 3 at the back, some sort of defense first, and then attack on the counter. I was not expecting press. So even on lineup, when I saw it, I thought, all right, cool. It kind of makes sense. It's not what I was expecting to do. I was thinking he's going to go 5 at the back, Tomine and Fred, Bruno in the hole, and then like Greenwood and Ronaldo up front for the counter. And in the end, he went with the predictable lineup. And everything you could have thought would have went wrong. It's one of them things. So in my head, I was thinking, especially Ole is someone that he does listen to what people say on social media. He does. He's on social media on Monday Night Football because he always reacts, and you know he always reacts because he says little things in press conferences. So when Scholes said that, thinking maybe Ole is going to switch it up and play 3 at the back and then sit back, let Liverpool have all the ball and counter. But I don't know if Atalanta gassed him and he thought we're going to go toe to toe, but obviously it didn't work, innit? So
what was you thinking? Was you thinking maybe a Pogba would come in after he kind of raised the level for us midweek? Maybe a Sancho possibly.
Pogba was never started.
What was you thinking?
To be honest, I didn't expect Pogba to play because I know he's going to go McFred in that game. That's exactly what Tony was saying. So I didn't expect Pogba, and I knew, not that I would do this, but I knew Pogba would start on the bench to accommodate McFred. I did think, though, that Sancho was going to play ahead of Greenwood. So I basically was going into that game with the exact same team, but with Sancho instead of Greenwood. That's what I was saying to my boy. So, and I actually thought I got the team right when I was like showing to my brethren, yeah, look at the team, and then I saw Greenwood play, which, you know, is not a horrendous decision. But for me, I agree with you that Ole reacts to social media and all of that. But you know what I've recognized about Ole is he can be quite stubborn. This whole McFred thing, he seems to be digging his heels in to try and prove a point. And I don't know if anybody else has picked up on it, but for me, Scholes' attitude and the way he's coming across has changed totally to how he was before. So I don't know if there's something that's happened behind the scenes between Scholes and Ole where they've had words or whatever, because Scholes had some venom on Wednesday and he was not being extra, but he was being extra, if that makes sense. Like he was over, not on it. Like Rio was trying to be a little bit, Scholes was not on it. So I think that, again, Ole's trying to dig his heels in, go against what Scholes is saying to try and prove a point. And, you know, we know that Ole is not good enough to make tactical changes. We saw it in the past a few times where he's played 3 at the back against Chelsea and other teams, but he's so predictable, Ole. We all more or less can pick his starting lineup week in and week out. So, yeah, I thought it was going to be that, man.
I think
you don't want me saying, especially. Sorry, go on. You don't want me saying, I feel like my problem with Ole from the very beginning is he always picks a safe option. He's more worried about losing than he is about winning. And that's why like this whole Fred McTominay thing becomes a problem. Like you saw against Leicester. Yeah, cool. Leicester are a respectable team, but we should beat them. Every day of the week, when you go in, we're not the underdogs. I don't understand why he sets up like with the underdogs. With the whole Maguire coming back early as well. Like Maguire hasn't trained all week and you're gonna start him. And then when he's at fault for 3 of the goals, you don't say anything. It's little things like that. So that's why like
hardest decision I've seen.
Yeah.
Hardest decision just to throw Maguire in there, just no training, no nothing, just no play. And when you see a performance like that, how are you even surprised?
Exactly.
And the Maguire thing is I don't know if we was gonna come onto it later on or whatever, but it's something I definitely wanted to touch on today because I've been talking to quite a few people about the squad. Yeah, we talk about the squad that we've got. We've now brought in Varane, which is an extra body in defense. But Ollie's reluctant to actually utilize the squad is actually a madness. Like, what is the point in you having all of these players when you rush a player like Maguire back to play against Leicester? When you've got Bailly on the bench that can step in. All right, you may not rate Bailly that much, but I'm telling you what, he ain't as bad as you think, and Maguire ain't as good as you think. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Maguire ain't as good as you think. Maguire ain't as good as you think to just drop him in there after a month out against Jamie Vardy and Kelechi. Like, he's not that good. He's not that. So the fact that you said perfectly, the fact that he hasn't, he relies on the same players to get him out of the holes every single time.
Exactly.
When people talk about individual brilliance, FC, it's literally him relying on the likes of Maguire, Bruno, whatever, in order to get him out of these holes.
And the thing about Ole as well is, like, I don't know whether it's a trust thing, but he always goes on about how he rewards good performances. He always goes on about how, like, I've got an amazing squad and all these players do this and do that. Tejas, of course, people have their worries about whether Tejas can defend or not. But after his game in the Champions League, especially, it was against Villarreal. You think Shaw's not started the season off as best as we know he can play. I have a personal problem with Shaw anyway, but for another day. So after that game with Villarreal, you think, you know what, Tejas has played well. Let him start on the weekend. And he doesn't do it. We're going to see Shaw start against Spurs. After that performance against Liverpool, he will still start. So it's like, what does a player on the outside have to do to get a game on Man United? What does he have to show Ole? Because it's something I can't fathom. Like,
another thing, just building on that quickly. Another thing that Ole claimed he was gonna do when he first came in, and it looked like he was gonna do it, is play the youth. Like, we've got the likes of Mata knocking around the squads. The same, like, I'm thinking, when am I going to see Ahmad, the likes of Galbraith, Sana on loan? Like, you rely on the same players who, quite frankly, haven't shown you anything to say that they deserve to be mainstays in the squad. They deserve to be trusted every single time because they've let you down how many times? No, he doesn't turn. Like, that's one of the most disappointing things to me. He claims to know all about Manchester United DNA. Well, Manchester United DNA is also giving youth a chance, and he definitely hasn't done that since he's come in.
I think it just comes back down to the fact of what Tony said earlier, is that man's always so negative. Like, he's trying to protect rather than going on the front foot and being this United. Like, he's, like you say, he's talking United DNA, but he ain't doing United DNA. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, last season, I was calling out for Ahmad to play more minutes in certain games. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in the Europa League final. He ain't making a substitution until we get like 120 minutes and all them madness there. Man ain't making substitutions. But I'm pretty sure Ahmad was on the bench. Like, he is a liar. He is a liar. Like, we're talking about utilizing the squad and stuff as well. That's when you're meant to play in it. If a team is winning week in, week out, that's when you struggle to get in the team. But if a team is not performing the way we're not performing, then these other players should be getting a chance. Donny van der Beek, he brought in against West Ham. Now, granted, we lost that game.
Well, he was one of our best performers. He was one of our best performers.
In my opinion, he was our best. He was man of the match that game. He was everywhere. He showed, okay, you're giving me a chance. I'm going to prove to you that I should be playing. We ain't seen him again. He's played 5 minutes, I think, of Premier League football. This is Donny van der Beek. someone who you blocked a move for him going in the summer because you told him he is a part of our plans. Man's
This
played
is
5
literally one
minutes.
of the most evil things I've seen. Like,
It's
why'd you ban me if you don't want me? And why'd you keep me if you know you still don't want me?
exactly.
And it's weird because it's where even now you have Donny. Where do you want to play him? Do you want to play him in the double pivot, or do you want to play him and Bruno? We've seen instances where you can say you could play maybe the 10 or you can play in double pivot, and you've seen instances where Bruno's been taken off and Donny hasn't come on. You've seen instances where McTominay's been taken off and Donny hasn't come on. And you're like, okay, you have a player here that we're not sure as fans what fits him best in this system that you want to play. But then you're not showing him where he can be useful as well. Because Bruno
Giving him a chance.
will play.
Giving him a chance
Exactly.
to show.
Bruno will play most minutes because you see him as talisman. But then when Bruno comes off, you're bringing on Cavani and then you're going 4-4-2. And then Van der Beek's like, okay, cool, whatever. And then you're bringing off Fred and then you're bringing on Matic. And it's like, fair enough, Matic deserves minutes as well. But where does Donny fit in? Do you know what I mean? And something that was really strange. Something that was really strange to me was, I believe it was Atlanta, was it? Where we went 2-1 up and McTominay comes on. And you're like, what's he going to do? You're always asking questions of what's he going to do. I would love to pick his brain and just sit down with him and say, bro, what is the meaning of this? What's the meaning of that? Because some subs don't make sense. Some lineups don't make sense. And I believe it's a clear favoritism anyway. Because certain things just happen when you're just like, what's happening here, man? Like, just explain to us fans. We deserve to know. You get me?
Well, even I don't know if Banksy was going to speak, but just quickly, like even going back to Sunday's game, you know, I don't know if you lot have heard his interview when they've asked him when he knew it was damage limitations, and man has said at 4-0. Like, I just want to, you know, I'm not one of these violent guys and stuff, but if he was in front of me, you know, you just slap him upside the head and be like 4-0. Like,
some of you guys just need a good slap. When Patrice Evra said that last year, he never returned to Sky Sports after he said that.
No, he's too real for Sky Sports.
Some of you guys just need a good slap.
Yeah, man. But then I'm like, why are you bringing on Pogba in the second half at 4-0? Like, what is Pogba going to do?
Just to build on that. If I'm Pogba, that there would have like lamented me not signing him. Like, I didn't expect him to sign a new contract. Calm. But that there, you don't start me in the biggest game of our season. You start McTominay and Fred. You made it clear because it's not like I'm injured. It's not like I'm in terrible form. Like, it's an option. You've got McTominay, Fred, and Pogba. You said you want to go McTominay and Fred. You've decided McTominay and Fred are both better options than me in our biggest game of the season. Yeah. You've now got yourself into the hole of a 4-0 deficit at home to this team, and you've brought me on in order to shore things up and say, help us out. We need to not concede. I'll be looking at Ole like, this is on you. Like,
the red card. Hence the red card.
Yeah,
the red card is the only thing that stopped us from conceding more. Because after the red card, they said, "All right, we'll call it."
Yeah, they help
on the pitch. It's very likely they would have gone on to try to score more goals. That's not me. That's not me absolving Pogba because there was a horrible cameo. But still, you can't just to bring on Pogba after your decision has led to us going 4-0 down. It's mad disrespectful. I can't lie. It's mad disrespectful. And that I wouldn't be surprised if Pogba don't sign the contract.
We all know that Pogba's not great defensively. Now I'm a big, massive Pogba fan. So any of the criticisms that come his way defensively, I can't defend him. We know that defensively he's not great. So this is why I'm thinking, why are you bringing him on at 4-0? Like, he's not, like, really and truly, you should be looking at someone like Donny van der Beek, because in the second half we should be looking to try and keep the ball. Or if you don't want that, you bring on someone like Matic ahead of Pogba, in my opinion. You know, Matic will give you a better defensive screen, slow the game down at times a little bit better than what Pogba's going to do, because we're never coming back in that game. I don't know in Ollie's head if he then thinks, oh, if we get the first goal, then maybe we can come back.
He's got dreams of flipping 99 in his head. Hey.
That's it. He must have been thinking that.
He's thinking his judge is gonna carry him over. Flipping cracking.
Pogba can't defend the park car. My man Nathan is saying, I can't defend Pogba when it comes to defending. Boy,
I get the cameo. I get the cameo. But what do you do it 4-0 down.
What do you want? What do you want him to do? What do you want? And that's the worst part about it, because now Pogba's become the main talking point for all the pundits. I can't believe he's come on, got red carded. It's not like, look at what was happening in the first half. Speak about the people that played 90 minutes and led to us getting a 4-0 deficit, but they won't speak about that. I just want to quickly talk about the first, because if we actually go over all the goals, then I'm sure we'll all just lose our minds. And I just want to talk about the first goal,
especially 2-0. What happened for the second goal? Like Shaw and Maguire running into each other again. It's becoming too common. Like, what are they doing? What are they doing in training?
I want to go to the first goal first, because that one at 0-0 is literally emblematic of what we do defensively under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm seeing Bruno chase down the keeper and then easily get past. Like every time he does it, he chases down the keeper and he gets passed around. I don't know what he thinks. This is the 2000s where keepers only boot the ball and they get scared. A keeper will see you running him down and just pass it around you. That Greenwood presses, it gets passed through him, and it's just so easy to get from their defense to our goal, and it's 1-0. It's just, I don't know, just watching that goal is just literally, that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Watching our coach press, that's what you're gonna get.
What I'll say to that, Banks, is, you missed the first goal. I saw the first goal and I was live in the stadium. And to be honest, I've not seen the goal again since. So anything I'm saying is purely on memory. I ain't watched none of these goals again. But I remember watching it as it happens, just thinking to myself, this is exactly what I've been saying since last season, when people talk about, some people may try to back the fact that we do have a pattern of play or all of this pressing. I'm like, we do not. And we do not know how to press, because we press as individuals. We don't press as a team. It's the same as when you play out from the back. When you play out from the back, to be fair, Maguire has got the blame a lot of the time when he's getting caught out and stuff like that, yeah? But I'm telling you, when you're playing out from the back, it's about the positions of the players, even from the forward, the midfielders and everything. You create different options. And far too often, our players at the back, they receive the ball from De Gea, they look forward, they haven't actually got any options because we don't move enough.
Literally make it up on the spot.
It is, man. And then this goal that happened, the first goal, is the exact same thing. You just see us, and this is what other teams have been doing to us, is what Villarreal did to us as well, especially in that first half on the left-hand side. They're just playing the ball around us. And I don't know if you lot kick ball on stuff, yeah, but that just reminded me of days when I used to play for a poor team and you come up against the top of the table team and they just run rings around you. We're Manchester United, and these teams are treating us like we're Norwich, Like we are not. It's a madness. It's crazy. Like we don't know how to press, basically.
People talk about Ronaldo coming in. People talk about Ronaldo coming in and him messing up our press, him being the reason why we don't press well. And I'm just thinking, can you see what's going? Like, can you see the fact that we don't actually press as a team? You see Bruno running down the keeper, get passed around. It doesn't matter. Like Ronaldo at 36 years of age, you don't need him to be chasing down the keeper in order to be successful. That's what it should. It's not about that. Any successful coach, any good coach is going to coach their team to press in a way that limits the amount that you have to run. You don't have to run all around the pitch in order to be successful. It's about areas where each player needs to be active and needs to be impactful. With us, it's a case of run around and hope to win back the ball. If that don't work, then you're fucked.
I think we touched a good point as
well. Anton, you wanted to speak
on defensive build-up. So when you play from the back, so De Gea will play to Maguire or Lindelof. Lindelof, who I believe is he's a bit of a scapegoat because he's not Maguire. I think he's a better passer than Maguire. That's not my anyway. The build-up is the fact that we play in a 4-2-3-1, and when Fred and McTominay play in that double pivot, neither of them are great on the ball. So in order to get the ball up the pitch, Bruno has to drop. And when Bruno drops, there's a massive space in the middle where the opposition DM is, and it's only Ronaldo up there. Then all of a sudden, it's like, how do we get the ball up? This is why I get why Shaw plays, because from defense, the progression relies on him so much because there's no one else in there. So, oh man, I get the whole claims that we need a DM, but we don't. This is why I believe Matic should start more. Everyone says Matic has got the legs because you can't play 2 games in 1 week. But let's say he plays 60 minutes a game, right? If we're 2-0 up by the point he gets taken off, we're good because Matic's progression is actually quite good. Fred,
Yeah.
get rid of him. Recycle him. We'll find someone else. Do you know what I mean? McTominay's one of the people we're playing and maybe sitting that. But I think our biggest problem, you can say that it's the press. Our biggest problem is ball progression, man. It really is. Watch the way that we progress the ball against Leicester. Awful,
I hear you. But the Leicester match showed you that there's just too much. Like, it's definitely a tactical thing because it doesn't matter what combination you play in there. Like, we just have to cover too much ground. In terms of the build-up, Matic is definitely the best option for us in terms of building from deep. He's definitely one of the best centre midfielding passes that we've got at the club. But again, it's just a case of will he be able to cover in this side? We need engines because there's everyone's just chasing. If you can't run, then there's going to be even more holes, and that's not good. Tactically, that's not good because you just chase down, have to cover insane amounts of distance just to get the ball back. But in this team, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. That's the reason why Matic can't, because we saw in the Leicester match the amount of space that Pogba and Matic had to cover. It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
So again, I agree with you in terms of Matic should be playing more games, but defensively, it's just it creates chaos because he doesn't have the legs to cover the ground.
Yeah.
What team are we? What type of team are we? Are we?
You tell me.
We play like City, where we play on the cosh and we try and break down deep blocks whilst sustaining possession, or are we a team that sits back, absorbs pressure, and hits on the counter, or are we a Burnley? We just hit it?
We're not either. We're not either.
What team are we? It's been 3 years and we're watching games. We can't figure out what we're trying to do.
But you know what? You know what's mad though is like last season, I would have actually have said that that's where we're strong is counter-attacking. I felt that in a lot of, especially in the big games, which is why we took 6 points from City. Well, we get 4 points from Chelsea, or no, 2 draws from Chelsea, I think actually last season. But we got a point from Liverpool, and generally speaking, we do well in the bigger games against the bigger teams because we were able to absorb pressure and then counter on them. This season, we just have gone. I don't know what it is, but we just seem to have got worse. Like we are not a counter-attacking team. We're not a ball progressing team. We can't. We're not a ball possession team. We're like nothing at the moment, and it's embarrassing. And that's not even being an exaggerated term to use because we are embarrassing to watch at the moment. When you look at the way we actually are playing football, it's really embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Like after what? This is Ole's 4th year at the club. Like we understood where he was going in terms of he wanted to soak up the pressure and counter-attacking thing at first because he hadn't got his ideas across, so we needed to do it. But we're literally 4 years in now, and we can't compete in these big games. We're not showing ourselves. We're not putting our foot down in these big games. How much longer do you think a manager would actually need to get his ideas across? If it's taking you more than 4 years to get your ideas across, you're probably in the wrong line of management or the wrong line of work.
Exactly.
4 years to get this, and people think it's magically gonna happen this season. It's just like it's not. You got all the people that are backing Ole. It's delaying the inevitable because Gary Neville. I don't know what you expect from your boy. I understand you have to back him, but hey, where do you go from here? Where do you actually go from here?
The thing is Ollie's like a year behind Klopp in terms of time he's come in and the time that he's had, the time that Klopp's had with Liverpool, time Ollie's had with us. With Klopp, you could see what man was trying to do from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? He just had the dead players. That's why they were just bare goals. He couldn't really, but then from the second season, man just started fixing it. And under Ollie, and this is the first time I'm on here and speaking to you lot, but trust me, I've been calling this even when we were top last season. I was probably one of the only real ones around saying we might be top, but we're playing rubbish. Like we're anything. This type of football is not sustainable. Do you know what I'm saying? And eventually it will catch up to you.
Agree with that.
Yeah.
We went on that crazy run where we won like 15 games. In those 15 games, we got like 13 penalties. Remember that? I don't remember. I think it was 1920 or 2021. There was one season I can't remember. It was Empty's fans, and we were just getting penalty after penalty after penalty. We were playing so bad, going 1-0 down in the first 10, recovering, get a penalty, making it 1-1, and then winning the game. And I'm sitting there thinking, the luck's gonna run out. And now it's run out at a time where we should be challenging. How is it that we got Ronaldo, Varane, and now we're just worse? How are we worse with better players? It doesn't make sense, man.
Exactly.
It's
All
because
they
the luck
signed is
run out.
death warrant. All they signed is death warrant when he signed world-class players.
Yeah.
Before he could live under the pretense that I'm building something. But as soon as you sign Cristiano Ronaldo, it means you need to win now. That's what it means. It means all that building, all that young stuff goes out the window. Cristiano Ronaldo is not coming to spend his last 3 years developing Mason Greenwood and Ahmad. He's coming to win trophies. And that completely changed. Like, I already had high expectations for what Ole needed to do this season. Because your fourth season, it's enough of the games now. Either win something or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Ronaldo win, you bring Ronaldo in. Hey, that's your death warrant there. Because it's either you be successful now or it's gonna come and bite you eventually. And it has done. You can't have Cristiano Ronaldo in your team. Just the status of it, have Cristiano Ronaldo in your team and not be competing. Impossible.
I think Ronaldo has added to the pressure, has added to Ollie's pressure now 100%, because before, as you said, even I've got fans that I used to go backwards and forwards with who were always trying to say, I can see what Ollie's trying to do, give him better players, blah blah blah. Now they're not replying to my messages, them ones, because it's one of these things now where
it's not bringing anymore.
It's not, boy, because all of them is like with the pundits as well. Everybody's now saying, "I'm sorry, Ollie, but you've got a team now that you should be doing a lot better." So now it's actually clear for everybody to see. Only the diehard donuts that really love Ollie and are proper sucked into him scoring for us in 99 that are still trying to jump on this train. But the other men that are just real with football, innit? Because we're all football people, we're all football fans, and we like seeing good football. It's clear for everyone to see now, everybody, that this is a shambles with players exactly what you're saying. Varane, Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho's getting bare disses. Have you not seen what Germany is doing to him?
That's why I
can't stand this, man.
You spend 2 years chasing this guy. You finally bring him, and then he's on the bench. And he hasn't started off well. But surely you I get Ronaldo is a superstar and whatnot, but surely you make someone like Sancho the center of your team because you spent 2 years trying to bring him in. Do you know what I mean? And like the way what I've always said, like Sancho, people that can't analyze football will sit there and say, Sancho came from a worse league. The difference with Sancho is you see what he's trying to do as well. Sancho feeds off the players around him. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking for a 1-2, or like come to the ball so I can play off you and I can create space with one like this, or just play 1-2 with me, or stuff like that. Yeah. And like he's on a different wavelength to everybody else. Which always makes the question of what is happening at training.
Exactly.
This is a player that
25-yard shots, rondos. That's it. That's it.
This is a player that thrives. Yeah, he rides off what's the word? Link up play. Link up with him, and you'll see Sancho at his best. So every time he's coming short and like, yeah, let's do this. He gets the ball. Everyone just drifts into the box like, yeah, whip it in. That's not his type of play. So he's lost. But you've spent 2 years chasing this guy.
Ole just saw the British winger and thought, yeah, sure. He thought it was going to be exactly like Rashford. He thought it was dribble, take shots. Because Ole loves to see his players take shots. So he thought Sancho's definitely going to be like these guys. Never watched him once. Because Sancho, I'm seeing the slander he's getting. This is a quality player, quality player that's waiting to show his quality. I'm not even doubting. I don't doubt that he's going to show his quality for United because Ole is going to be out of this too.
Yeah, no, Sancho's a baller, man, and I totally agree with everything you've just said there. He's a combination player as what me and my brethren say. He likes the 1-2 spinning behind. Do you know what I'm saying? And the players are definitely just on a different wavelength to him. Like at the Villarreal game, the amount of space that my man had, and he was just not seeing the ball. And then when he did receive the ball, he's got no one within. Like you could just put a big circle.
Go take him on.
Yeah, it's just by himself, and I'm like, that you're saying that's not his play.
And you can see him like dribbling up to the fullback, and he's expecting the overlap, and the overlap doesn't come. He's like, bro, what are you doing? He passes the ball back. because there's no option. The overlap doesn't create the space that he needs to just drive inside, or I don't know, pick up play, or you can always. The thing about Sancho, why I'm positive, is because you can see what he's trying to do. There's no coaching, so like you're right. There's a player there that's waiting to come out and explode, and he will come with it with the right man that's going to come in after Ole. So.
Yeah. I agree.
I want to look to the future. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation directly after the match about whether Ole will stay in the role. He's managed to survive the week after the humiliation. Does anybody envision a scenario where Ole survives until the end of the season?
No. I think a loss or a draw. I don't know. I'm trying to figure. I can't picture the table in the Champions League, but I think if we ever get in a position where, because obviously we're out the Carabao already, FA Cup's not till January, December for us. If we get in a position where we drop any more points than UCL and third place Europa League is looking likely again or dangerous for us, I think he makes survive Premier League and Premiers because the owners don't care about us winning the league as long as we get top four. It's a shame because a squad like this deserves to challenge. But I think if we've got Atlanta away next, isn't it? I think if that's a loss, situations look sticky for him. So,
What are you thinking?
I think we will. I've looked at the Champions League, and I think that we will go through. So, this is where he can get saved because he's still in the Champions League. But I do believe that when you look at our next 5 Premier League games, if Manchester United are sitting, mid-table, could even be in the bottom half of the table. And again, when I say these things, I'm not being outlandish or anything. Like if you check the games, if we
Arsenal.
exactly, if we've got Spurs away, then we've got City at home, and then we've got Watford away, and then we've got Chelsea. I think Chelsea's at home, is it? And then Arsenal. Chelsea on the 28th, Arsenal on the 2nd of December. Like when you look at that run of games, it's very easy that we can maybe get like 5 points maximum out of these next 5 games. And I think then if we're then sitting in those positions, Champions League or not, with the players that we have, exactly what we was talking about when you got your Ronaldos in the camp now, he ain't just come to this win Champions League. Like man's come to create history, win the Premier League again. Do you know what I'm saying? We can't be sitting mid-table. And I think that will be enough to give him his dues, send him on his way, because I just don't think that I do think before top 4 was just the thing, but now when you go and spend all that money, you get Sancho, you get Varane, you get Ronaldo, I don't think that that's going to wash this time. So I think he's gone after that.
Bro, Ronaldo's never played Europa League. If Ronaldo plays Europa League this season...
See the way he was on his knees after the Atalanta match? Hey, this guy does not play Europa League football.
Man lost his head. He didn't even remember his celebration, Man was just like...
I just did the slide. Hey, this is a guy that's won
relief.
5 times. And we've got him on his knees for a group stage match in game week 3. We are actually toast, fam. This club is so toasted, I swear to God. Thinking about Ole, I just need him to make sure we get through to the next stage of the Champions League, because he needs to leave that platform for the next manager. Again, a loss against Spurs, I think, seals his fate. I don't think he survived. We've got, again, until the November international break, I think we've got Spurs, City, and then somebody else. I don't think he makes
Watford away.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it past Spurs if he loses that one, because it'll just be too toxic. It'll be too toxic. Conte is looking like the bookies' favourite to take over if Ole does get the boot. Would any of you go a different way in the case that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does get sacked?
Yeah.
I love Conte. I love him. I think he's great. Is he what we need? No, but actually, how'd you answer that question? Because people sit there and say, look at the squad that we have. I think we're the winner. We're the manager that's going to take us to the next level. And Conte is that. We may not be successful in Europe because of his record, but that comes later. Let's secure the league title first, because it's going to be 9 years, isn't it? After this year. It's going to be 9 years.
9 years.
Fam, it's deep. It's 9 years. Last time we won the league, I was in year 11. It's long ago. It's been long. So I think I think I've not really thought about it because I just desperately need Ole to go. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'll take anyone. I'll take Ten Hag. I'll take Luis Enrique. I'll take Conte. I'm trying to think in my head now as I'm scrambling, trying to think of a lineup that we could have under Conte. But really and truly, this is someone that's got a track record of reviving teams. People say he's a defensive manager, which I don't think is true. Like if you look at his Chelsea team, didn't they break the record for top goal scoring? He broke the record last season at Inter in terms of Serie A top goal scoring teams. I may not be right, but I believe I read somewhere that his Inter team were one of the highest top goal scoring teams. So Conte's going to come in and he's going to utilize the strikers perfectly well. Wan-Bissaka might be down here, which is perfect for me because I think it's awful. But I think this is a breath of fresh air. Like Conte's going to come in and change things, and we're going to see a squad in a different light. We're going to start seeing Mandem play in different positions, different scenarios that we didn't even know that they could play. It's going to be like a Victor Moses thing where like everyone at Chelsea's like, Moses is finished out here, then he has a season like that. He might do that with Dallo. He might do that. Okay, he might do it. Sorry, my English. He might do that with Sancho at wing back. We don't know, but the idea of him coming in, and taking us into a different light that we haven't seen before. Why not, man? Why not? Why not take this experiment? We're so scared about having a repeat of Jose Mourinho that we're scared to take a leap and actually have a manager that's has won stuff in the past and can take us to the next level. Let's not be scared. Let's take that step forward. Get a manager he clearly knows what he's doing, and take that leap forward. You never know where it's going to take us. Right now, you could be sitting there saying he's not the one. It may win if we win the league. You're going to look stupid, isn't it? I'm down for it. I'm really down for it. And the squad's young enough to bounce back if it goes wrong. Because think about it, if Conte gets it wrong, all we're going to really miss out on is Cavani and Ronaldo. Really, the squad's quite young, isn't it? So bring him in. Let's see what happens.
Sam, still thinking. Was you looking for a different manager, or would you be happy to see Conte come in?
Conte wouldn't have been my first choice, if I'm honest. Even Zidane again wouldn't have been. Somebody like a Ten Hag would, but again, these men are wrapped up before. You would be looking at your Nagelsmans. I was a Pochettino fan as well. Obviously, he's having problems over there at the moment with PSG. But yeah, I was definitely a Pochettino fan. And this always seems the case with us is that whenever we, need to pull the trigger on Ole and get one of these managers who are available, we don't, and then they go elsewhere. I feel now is the time where, as you're saying, with Conte, last season, I always said, I'm not disrespecting Ole. Like, I respect what he's done since he's come to the club in terms of steadying the ship and all of that, yeah? But he is not the elite manager that we need to get us to the next level. Whatever your views are on Ole, there's no way that you can tell me that he is an elite manager and he's going to get us to the next level. We need an elite. And now we can actually be in a position where we secure an elite manager. Conte is an elite manager. Do you know what I'm saying? We are now sitting at the boardroom table and we've got Conte, Liverpool got Klopp, Chelsea Tuchel, Pep, Man City. We can't run up to this table now with Ole and expect to do something. So at least now where we got Conte, like what my man is saying, it's exciting to see what he can do with this squad that we now have. Do you know what I'm saying? He might need one or two players that he needs to get in January or in the summer or whatever it may be, but he hasn't got to make a lot of tweaks to this squad. And I think an elite manager with this group of players elevates them to a next level. Somebody like Dalot, for example, you just mentioned him there. I've been a big Wan-Bissaka fan up until recently. Like he's been struggling recently, but someone like Dalot, there's a player in there now. I'm not saying Dalot is the answer, but I do feel that there could be a potential player in there that somebody like a Conte could bring out. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I agree, man. I just think Conte is an elite manager. He's available at the moment. It seems like he wants the job. And in life, you got to take risks. You can't say because it didn't work out the last time, we're not going to try this time. That don't make no sense.
It doesn't make sense. No, I don't get that mindset.
I think I like the idea of Conte as well, but you need to limit his impact on transfers. I think that will be a big thing because
Why'd you say that? Though?
Huh? Why'd I say that?
Why'd you say that? Yeah.
Again, we've seen his track record in terms of transfers. This is not me saying all of his transfers end up being duds, but again, we've got a certain type of squad here, and ideally, I'd want Conte in on a 2-year deal because it means you have to be successful now, and that means using largely the players that we've got here because we've got a quality squad here, as you all agree. You can make a couple of tweaks to it because he does have his own way of working and he will need some of his own players. But I don't want to be in a situation where if it does go wrong, we're saddled with the likes of a Zappa Costa or a Drink or whatever it is. You don't need those sort of players attached to the club for that long. So again, we've got a quality squad here. We need to make sure that he uses the squad that we've got, make some improvements, but again, limit what he does in terms of the long-term planning. But
this is the reservation.
I would be happy to see Conte come in because again, this is a manager that went against Klopp and Pep and won. Again, Liverpool and City weren't the strongest sides back then, but again, he beat them both convincingly, won the title. You see again with Inter, again, beat up Juventus, beat up AC Milan to win the title. He's a manager that knows what he's doing in the league. He wins league titles and he gets the best out of players. I want to quickly, just on my final note on Conte, I wanted to come to Tony because he watched a lot of Inter Milan last season and he'll be able to tell us, I think, best what we could expect from Conte if he was to come to England again.
Firstly, I think he was a bit harsh to say about the transfers. I don't know what happened at Chelsea, but I don't think, maybe Zappa Costa, because his reputation in Italy is actually a lot better than it is here. Zappa Costa is actually a very, very capable wing back, especially this season at Atalanta. I'm not sure if you guys have been seeing them, but at Atalanta, Zappa Costa's been doing this thing.
He was the assist last couple weeks ago.
But yeah, like, especially at Chelsea, I've read things on The Athletic where he wanted Lukaku, didn't get Lukaku, got Morata. So certain things, I don't even think Conte knew who Drinkwater was, if I'm honest with you. So it's a thing. It's a certain thing where, like, I don't believe he was backed properly at Chelsea. At Inter, however, he got things the way he wanted. Barella came in. Now look at Barella. Top one of the best 10, maybe top 20% of midfielders. I think top 10 midfielders in the world. Hakimi came in, ripped it up. The players that Lukaku came in, ripped up. The players that he wanted, he got it, and that's what got him the league title. So if Conte came to Man United and he got it the way he wanted to get it, bro, that title was ours. And I feel it with every joint in our bones. Like, with Conte, obviously, he likes set with. I think he'll set with a 3-4-1-2, especially because that's what he tried in his last season. It didn't work very well. He tried to play Barella in the trequartista 10 though. Didn't work very well, so he resorted back to a 3-1-4-2. That was because of the personnel that he had. So, especially with Bruno at the club, where you can't really play games without him. I can see a 3-4-1-2. Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw tucking in at that left centre back, and then maybe a right wing back coming in, or maybe he might trust on himself. I don't think he will, but maybe he might, or he will try Dallo there. But either way, we'll probably have to go into the summer transfer market and get a right wing back next season if he gets the job this season to push next season potentially. Left wing back Telles will come in, and then the midfield is a bit tricky because I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't think he'll do McTominay and Fred. But I don't think he'll do Fred and Pogba. I don't think he'll do VDB and Pogba. He'll pick someone to be an anchor and he'll pick someone to help with progression. So Pogba will probably play with a new DM, or Van der Beek will play with somebody else, a couple of balls. And then Bruno will play that 10 role that he tried to play Perisic in, he tried to play Barella in last season, he tried to play Sanchez in last season as well. So that's Bruno's little 10 spot. And up front, the two players would be Greenwood and Ronaldo, or Rashford and Ronaldo, or whoever. So I expect if Conte gets a job, it'll be a 3-4-1-2, and then he'll play that way. And then, of course, I think Sancho and Bruno will rotate the 10 spot. So I think that's when I think of Conte. I think that's the way he would line up, because ideally that's what he wanted to move to last season. You can get it because personnel, and he switched to, and then, of course, against the big teams as well, he'll play a 3-5-2. That's when you have someone sitting deep, and then two little shuttlers that will just make up the space between the two strikers. Yeah,
and that will make us more compact and harder to beat, man. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Especially his cat's natural. Like, people sit there and think, but this is three at the back or 5 at the back formation. We're defensive. No. We will not be defensive. This team will be devastating on the counter attack. If you watch the way Inter countered last season with last season they played Young before he was sold, or they played Darmian on the left hand side, or against smaller teams they played Perisic. One of them would sit back and tuck in almost like a four at the back, and Hakimi would push up on the right hand side. And when they would counter, they would use Hakimi's pace. And it was so devastating to the point where the ball would come to Lukaku. Lukaku would play it off to the midfield. Ericsson, before his heart stuff went wrong, would play it to Hakimi. And that whole right-hand side was just taken out. And that's how quick he is. He'll move the ball from defence to attack in lightning speed, get the ball up there, and then put it in for a focal point, which for us would be Ronaldo. And before you know it, the defence is in trouble where they're trying to respawn numbers, get numbers back into the box. But we're attacking with such grit that we're good under counter with Ole's already, but I'm just trying to think here. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. It's not even happened yet. I think it's it's mad. Like listen. 3-4-1-2 Conte. Let's try it because
it's just
what I saw last season.
I love the breakdown. I love the breakdown. Quickly before we wrap up, because you have done great so far, I just want to get a quick prediction for the Tottenham game on the weekend. What are we thinking? Are we going to see a win? Are we going to see Ole's possible last game? Ball draw? We're going to come to Sense first. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think we'll see a 1-1 draw in that game. 1-1 draw, 2-2. Yeah.
I think we're seeing a draw.
Yeah, both teams are poor, innit? Both teams are poor. Both teams are gonna definitely not want to lose. So I'm boring. I know, but I'm gonna go draw. I don't think we will necessarily lose on the weekend, and I definitely don't think we'll win. So I'm going draw, man.
They're calling this El Sacico. Tony, what do you think?
I think draw is there as well. But if I'm honest with you, that Emerson's been a bit rubbish, isn't he? Since he signed. So if Rashford starts, which he probably will because he's Ole's favourite, if Rashford starts and he has a good game, it could be even a 2-1 win. And next thing you know, Ole's staying around longer. I want to be positive in the United sense that we'll fail to win and Ole will be out. I don't even know if that makes sense, but Tottenham are poor, man. And our track record against them has actually been quite good, so I can't see us losing. So I'm going to go with the 1-1 draw.
Beat them up last season. Guys, thank you for joining me on the 5th episode of United We Ball. We've had Sense and we've had Tony, who've been flipping fantastic guests. I want you lot to plug whatever you want to plug right now. Get in there. Sense, you can go first.
Yeah, man. If you enjoy what I'm talking about, want to see more of me, I'm on Views TV Official. That's on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at LSEMS. You can see the description there, man. That's it.
Thank you very much. Make sure you go follow Views TV Official and SEMS. Tony.
Thanks for having me. I know it's informal because I'm on a work do. I did try to get home, but I got carried away. But I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. My people, I'm just about to launch something. It's called Ballers Corner. Not enough information yet because we're just doing the little setup things, but eventually it will be there. So just look out for that. That will be BALLRS Corner, Ballers Corner. There we'll be talking about controversial stuff, other parts of football as well, not necessarily just what's happening in the Premier League and whatnot. We're going to do our best to try and give us a little range of everything that we do watch, because we do have quite a lot of people that watch different things, so it's quite nice. Nice little project there. Follow me on Twitter. It's at TONYXVII. So on there you'll see stuff that we're doing as well. So exciting things happening.
Ballers Corner and Tony XVII. Make sure you go follow it. Guys, I've been your host, Banks, for the final third, presenting United We Ball, the 5th episode. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel at the final third. Make sure you follow us on the socials at the final third 3RD_ on Twitter, at TFinal3RD_ on Instagram. Make sure you follow these guys. Make sure you follow me. Have a wonderful evening and a great night.
You are now listening to The Final Third. think Pepe's so
That's why
coachable.
you should be in
Just need to
prison.
shake him.
You should be in prison. We built you out. We built you out to come and play this season. You're out